Falling delay is copied into RAM at this location, named drop speed. Then down here, there is also a memory hole to store the current piece's Y position on the board. At an earlier point in the game's code, the piece's fall timer is incremented by 1. This always happens as the tetramino is falling in the board. Later on, the game checks if the current level number is 29 or greater. If it is 29 or higher, then this default frame delay of 1 is used. In this case, the frames per drop table is never referenced at all. This means those 3 1s in the table are pretty much useless, since they aren't even read at all. If the current level is 28 or lower, then the game will fetch the corresponding frame delay from the table in the ROM. This value, or the default 1, is copied to the RAM address drop speed. Then, this threshold is compared with the current counter value. The counter is equal or greater than the frame delay, and it is determined that it is time for the piece to fall down 1 row. Otherwise, the code exits right here. To move the piece down a row, a bunch of stuff happens, but the only important stuff here is that the fall timer is reset to 0, and the Y position of the tetramino is incremented by 1. This code continues to function correctly as the level increases all the way to 255, since this compare instruction right here is able to successfully detect if the current level is greater than or equal to 29, no matter what the level number is. Don't get used to this, however, since this pattern will not hold as we look into the next few things. If you get past level 29, you'll level up to level 30. But the level number at the bottom right of the screen will display 0 for some reason. This one is actually pretty simple, but it requires us to know what binary coded decimal is. The level number is stored in RAM as a standard 8-bit byte. This means as the level goes up by 1, the level number byte is incremented by 1. We can express this in terms of binary and in terms of decimal, but we can also express this in terms of hexadecimal. Notice that when we hit level 10, the hexadecimal representation becomes hex OA, and level 16 is hex 10. This is just how hexadecimal works. The second digit from the right counts in 16s rather than 10s. Now the level number display on screen is 2 digits wide. We could dedicate a separate byte for each digit, but that would kind of be a waste of space. Besides, a single byte can hold 256 different values, so that should be able to hold all of the level numbers you could ever need. However, since the game wants to display the level number in base 10, it has to convert it from binary to decimal. This is kind of a pain, but there's a different, better way it could be done, and this is where binary coded decimal comes in. Instead of treating the entire 8-bit byte as one number, we can split the byte into 2 halves and treat each of the 4-bit nibbles as 1 digit each. So in this case, the lower 4 bits become the 1s digit of the level number, and the upper 4 bits become the 10s digit. We can count up in binary coded decimal just as easily, but it just requires us to make an adjustment when we go from 9 to 10. Instead of making the lower digit binary 1010, we reset it back to 0 and increment the upper digit. Now, if you treat these 2 half bytes as a whole 8-bit byte again, it will look like we jumped from 9 to 16. But if you look at the hexadecimal representation, it looks like we're counting up in decimal. This format turns out to be really handy when updating tiles to draw to the screen.
This well is great,
because the game can easily convert these 4-bit nibbles into tile IDs that it needs to display. However, there is one critical step that needs to occur for all of this to work. Since the level number is stored in a standard binary format, it needs to be converted into binary coded decimal format. This can be done with a simple lookup table, of which there is one in the game's ROM. However, this lookup table only holds values from 0 to 29. So if you try to look up what 30 should be in binary coded decimal, you'll exceed the boundaries of the table and start to read garbage data. The data that follows this lookup table in the ROM is actually another lookup table that just holds the multiples of 10 to help speed up various calculations. These are standard binary numbers and not in the binary coded decimal format, so the raw hexadecimal representation of these numbers end up being used as the level numbers once you get past level 29. So level 30 becomes hex 00, 31 is hex 0A, 32 is hex 14, and so on. When you hit level 138, suddenly the standard rotation of color palettes breaks, and the board becomes a very odd mix of colors. Even further levels result in some glitchy-looking colors. But what could cause this? Let's look into the code that handles updating the color palette of the board when you level up. There's this chunk of code that does all of the updating, but accompanying it is this table of 40 bytes that just defines each of the colors for each color palette. There are 10 sets of 4, since each palette uses 4 colors. The first color is effectively ignored since it is substituted with transparency for the moved sprites, and the second color just happens to always be defined as white for every level. When you get to level 10, the colors just repeat over and over again. Level 10 shares colors with level 0, level 1 has the same colors as level 11, 21, 31, and so on. In the code here, it's clearly referencing the level number memory address here, but it uses a few more memory locations down here. Let's see. In order to change a color in the palette memory of the PPU, the CPU needs to write 3 separate bytes to specific memory locations. The first 2 bytes need to be the 16-bit address in video RAM where the certain color you want to change is located. Palette memory spans from hex 3F00 to 3F1F in video RAM, 1 byte for each of 32 colors, so your 16-bit address will always fall within this range. The location the CPU needs to write this address is in this PPU ADDR register. In order to write the full 16-bit value, the upper 8 bits are written first, then the lower 8 bits are written to the exact same register. Then the third byte is just the ID of the color you want to use. This gets written to the PPU data register. As a convenience, if multiple color values need to be written, you don't need to write the VRAM address every time. The PPU ADDR register is internally automatically incremented every time PPU data is written to. So as long as the colors are contiguous in memory, you can just keep writing to PPU data over and over again, and it will transfer the data to video RAM just fine. That's essentially what this code is doing. First, it looks at the level and compares it to the constant 10. There are only 10 different color palettes, so this part is looking to constrain the level number between 0 and 9, so we can use it as an index into the color table. What it would like to do is repeatedly subtract 10 from the level number until it becomes less than 10. The result would be the palette index to use. For example, level 24 is greater than 10, so it subtracts 10 to get 14. This is still greater than 10, so it subtracts 10 more to get 4, which means level 24 will use palette index 4. However, this BMI branching instruction doesn't quite do what it was intended to do if we consider that the level number can go all the way up to 255. A CMP instruction, short for compare, is really just a subtraction instruction in disguise. So here, 10 is subtracted from the level number. The BMI branch instruction will essentially look at the result of that subtraction and branch if the result is negative. So reiterating the example we did earlier for level 24, the CMP subtracts 10 from 24 to get 14. This is not negative, so the following subtraction instructions execute, which is a true subtraction that actually modifies the underlying value. So we jump back up and do another compare. This time, 10 is subtracted from 14 to get 4. This is still not negative, so that 10 gets subtracted off for real, and we jump back up a second time. The third time, though, the CMP will subtract 10 from 4 to get negative 6. Since this is negative, the BMI will branch forward, and we remain with a value of 4 in the accumulator. However, the big mistake here is the type of branch instruction used. BMI stands for branch if minus, which effectively can be thought of as a branch if less than instruction. However, this only works for signed bytes. If the result of a previous comparison is less than 0, that is, between negative 128 and negative 1 inclusive, the branch will be taken. Otherwise, if the result is between 0 and positive 127, the branch will not be taken. This can cause problems with comparisons that check if a certain value is negative, since some values that are positive when treated as an unsigned byte are negative when treated as a signed byte. For example, unsigned 8-bit 128 is the same as signed 8-bit negative 128, and unsigned 8-bit 255 is the same as signed 8-bit negative 1. The level number is being compared here as if it were a signed byte, while the structure of this code is treating it as an unsigned byte. This first causes an issue at level 138. Let's look at level 137 first, though. The CPU loads in the level number of 137 and executes the CMP10. This subtracts 10 from 137 to get 127. The BMI instruction recognizes that this is a positive number. In fact, 127 is the highest possible 8-bit signed value. The branch is not taken, so the level number gets reduced to 7 after a bunch of repeated subtractions. Level 138, however, the CPU loads in the level number 138 and executes the CMP10. This subtracts 10 from 138 to get 128. As a signed 8-bit number, however, this is treated as negative 128. This means the BMI branch if minus instruction sees this as a negative number and will take the branch. As a result, the code that follows will receive a value of 138 instead of a number between 0 and 9 as expected. Let's take a look at this code right now. The incoming value is multiplied by 4, since each of the palettes is 4 bytes wide. This calculates the offset of the first color of the intended palette in the big table. These would appear at multiples of 4, so 0, 4, 8, etc. The unintended value of 138 gets multiplied by 4 and truncated to 40, since we're still limited to 8 bits here. Next, the game sets up the VRAM address of those colors that it wants to update. The high 8 bits of this pointer are always hex 3F, but that is hard-coded into this LDA instruction. But the low byte does change, so that is temporarily stored in this palette pointer low location. The way that it prepares this pointer to be written to the PPU ADDR register is kind of convoluted, and it isn't super important for our understanding of how the glitched colors happen. But in short, there are 8 sets of 4 color palettes used in the NES, 4 for the background and 4 for the objects. The colors for the board are written in 2 places, one for the background stack and one for the object currently moving in next pieces. These palettes are at addresses hex 3F08 and 3F18, respectively. This part of the code is written as a loop. On the first iteration, it writes those for the background, and on the second iteration, it does it for the objects. After the address is written to PPU ADDR, the 4 entries in the palette table are written to PPU data sequentially. On level 9, our base index becomes 9 times 4, or 36, and the indices 36, 37, 38, and 39 are copied to VRAM. Index 39 is the last entry in this table, but with level 138, the unintended index we end up with is 40, remember? This means this table will be indexed out of bounds, and we start reading values that were never intended to be color IDs. For the next 54 levels, glitched color IDs get copied to VRAM. Then on level 192, it wraps back around to the normal colors again. This is because 192 times 4 is 768, but this gets truncated all the way back to 0 when limited to 8 bits. The standard 10 sets of colors show up in order, but the glitched ones return on level 202, because 202 times 4 is 808, which also truncates to 40, just like 138 did. Understanding how the crashes and glitched tile confetti work requires a bit more of a backstory on how the NES works. For the majority of the time, NES's CPU is busy executing code to run the game. At the same time, the NES's PPU is busy generating the video signal that displays on the screen. It reads information from video RAM, so it knows what colors and tiles to use to make this picture. But when the PPU is reading from VRAM, the CPU should not try to access VRAM, since this can cause read and write conflicts. But the CPU is in charge of processing the game's code, so how can it tell the PPU to draw what it needs? If no changes to VRAM are made over time, the PPU will just end up drawing the same picture over and over. Thankfully, there is a short bit of time in between each frame, called the vertical blanking interval, or VBlank, where the PPU gets to take a little break. It is during this time that the CPU is free to make all the changes it needs to video RAM, and it needs to hurry up and do everything it needs to do before VBlank is over. This back and forth exchange of who gets to access VRAM is sort of like the backbone of how graphics work on the NES, and it is important that it works in order for a game to function properly. But how does the NES know exactly when the frame is complete, and it is okay for the CPU to start updating VRAM? Well, in addition to the PPU generating the video signal, it will generate an interrupt when it gets to the end of the visible part of the picture on that frame. The CPU will be alerted to this interrupt and will, well, interrupt its normal flow of execution code. When the CPU gets an interrupt, it will put down everything it is currently doing and move its program counter to a very specific ROM address. In order for it to go back to where it was before the interrupt, the old program counter is kept track of in the stack, as well as the processor flag bits. But now the CPU will be executing completely different code, what is called the VBlank routine. This routine is intended to be run exactly once per frame, so anything that happens at a constant rate will happen here. It is in this routine that any necessary data gets uploaded to VRAM, and maybe some other stuff, like checking the state of the controllers. When it's finished, it will return from this interrupt, which just restores the program counter to what was saved in the stack, and code execution continues there, as if nothing ever happened. Here's the kicker though. Since this interrupt always happens at the exact end of the frame, the CPU can be busy with any section of code and it will get interrupted. The interrupt waits for nothing. The CPU can be busy doing any code calculation that happens in the entirety of the game. If it receives an interrupt, it will stop what it's doing then and there. This is kind of a problem because what if the CPU is in the middle of a delicate operation? The CPU has 3 general use internal registers, A, X, and Y. The VBlank routine will likely use all 3 of these to do whatever needs to be done for the controller input and VRAM modifications. So what happens to the values held in the A, X, and Y registers during the operation the CPU was in the middle of doing? Well, if care isn't taken, they can easily be overwritten. During this interrupt, the program counter and processor flags are automatically pushed to the stack. This is just a built-in part of the interrupt process. But anything else needs to be saved in software. This is why the first part of the VBlank routine in most games starts with something like this. The first instruction pushes the value in the A register to the stack. The next 2 instructions save the X register, and then finally the next 2 save the Y register. Now that the 3 internal registers' values are safe in the stack, the VBlank routine can use the registers without any worries. At the end of the VBlank routine, we find the exact opposite thing happening. Registers have to be restored via software as well. These happen in reverse order, so the Y register pops off the stack first, then the X register, and then the A register. Then the RTI instruction returns from the interrupt, which restores the program counter and processor flags. Now the code written here makes sure these 3 registers are safe from being overwritten. However, this does not take care of any extra values held in the entirety of work RAM. In order to safely use memory locations in RAM during the VBlank routine, they should either be reserved to only be used in the VBlank routine and nowhere else, or they need to be pushed to the stack, just like the A, X, and Y registers. For example, if we wanted to be able to use the location X69 in memory, we'd load in the value in that address and push it to the stack. Then we just have to do the reverse at the end of it. This way, load the CPU or the interrupt, making use of memory addresses, ensured the original value was preserved and didn't get overwritten any time. So make note of all of this. What do you think happened against Tetris? Rather, what doesn't happen? Give you some time to think. Let's go on a tangent about another bit of code to keep in mind. There's a useful programming technique that allows you to jump to a number of different code paths depending on a single variable. I saw some branching instructions already. These only allow for 2 different options. And just take one, or it isn't. Sometimes it's nice to have more than 2 options for what to execute next. Modern code is this done using first response. In assembly, this is normally no. Some assembly languages have an instruction that allows you to specify the location of a jump, perform the dynamic one go. However, in 6502 assembly, yes uses phrase notes. So a jump table had to be done in software. This is the routine that Tetris uses to express this. The closest that the NES can get to a dynamic jump instruction is this one right here. This will jump execution to the 16-bit point that is located in memory at address hex 000001. What this code does is copy a particular pointer from within the jump table, pastes it into memory at location x0000 before executing the jump. Take a look at this routine now. Here's a small bit of code that runs very frequently. Main holds the icon of what state. 0 corresponds to the copyright screen, 1 for the screen, 2 for the game settings screen, 3 for the level select screen, 4 for the main game screen, 5 for the track node button, 6 to initialize it. Have the dynamic that will go to one of 7 pointers depending on what the game mode is. Located directly after this jump to subroutine instruction. There are 7 16-bit that correspond to 7 input. JSR instruction is usually calling a subroutine. The program counter will be set to the location specified, and a return instruction will bring it back home. This is done by saving the old program counter stack, otherwise. But in this case, the JSR is used as a way of jumping to the dynamic, while also pushing the program counter. Won't be coming back here after all, but we do need
it's
to know
very
where this jump
backloaded.
table is located on. That program counter is perfect. Now, due to how the JSR instruction works, it's going to push the 16-bit pointer of hex 8165.
It'll work.
First, the high byte of hex 81, low byte of hex 65. This jump table is actually located at hex 8166, though. This is just a quirk of the 6502 architecture, so we just have to deal with it. Then, the jump is taken to address hex AC2, which is where the dynamic jump routine is located from. A register currently holds the game mode hex value from before the jump. Right here, that value is multiplied by 2 by shifting the bits left once. This is because each 16-bit pointer in the jump table is bytes long. Very similar to how in the palette example, 4 bytes long. This ease into the jump table, 0, 4, and so on, pointers. This gets transferred to the Y register, but then incremented by 1. This is how we get around that optimal pointer. The base point is stack is 1 less than the 1, just offset that. It means that the indices in the jump table end up being 1, 5, and so on instead. Next couple instructions pull that base pointer off of the stack, stores it temporarily in memory as hex 00 and 01. Way the next set of instructions use it as part of an effective address to load the final pointer. First, the low byte of the pointer is kept safe, X-ray. Then the high byte is fetched. Now that both bytes are fetched from memory, the temporary pointer at address hex 00 is of no use any longer and can be overwritten. So the jump target finally gets stored to those same then the dynamic jump instruction is active. We'll finally get the secret grades. So to reiterate, suppose the game is currently on the level select screen, which corresponds to game mode ID. Looking at the jump table, we want to end up at address hex 82D7. First, the value of the JSR will push hex 8165 to the execution is over here. 6, transferred to Y, and 7. The byte hex 65 gets pulled from the stack, address hex 0, and hex 81.
This should be a comfortable amount of defense for now.
This instruction load the byte on at address hex 8165 plus 7, address hex 816C. This is the hex 2 jump table. That goes to X register, and Y is 8. Then this instruction loads the byte at hex 865 plus 8, or hex 816.
I want to do a bit more exploration of the depths.
2 that gets directly written to address hex 01, and then the hex D7 gets written to hex 0. Finally,
Before I start with any of the unnatural phenomena quests,
since that is what is now in memory at address hex 0000.
I have a specific part of the chasm in mind.
So, did you figure out what the game doesn't do during
The chasm?
The answer is, it doesn't attempt to preserve any memory location, only the internal secret. While there are a handful of memory locations that are reserved only to be modified, but there are some that are completely unrestricted. See, the 6502 CPU in the NES only has those 3 general usages, A, X, and Y. But a lot of the time, you need more than 2 bytes of working memory or complex memory. The option is to start using bytes. Types of memory locations are sometimes referred to as scratch, as they aren't really dedicated to a specific purpose. Though special care needs to be made not to clobber values in scratch memory, still intended. Exactly what Envy's Tetris did. This dynamic jump routine, memory addresses hex 00 and 01 are scratch format addresses. A value is first written to them right here at this instruction, but after the final JMP instruction, scratch RAM is set to free, since they have fulfilled their purpose and now the values are overwritten. The problem occurs, however, if the CPU gets interrupted sometime within this very small window. The blank routine ends up overriding memory at addresses 00 and 01, even though this dynamic jump routine is not useful. This results in the pointer for the dynamic jump to become corrupted. The CPU will end up jumping execution to somewhere completely out of place, and the game ends up crashing. Okay, but if the CPU can be interrupted whenever, why does this not happen, like, all the time? Let's go back to that balance between frames. The CPU can access video RAM while the GPU is frames. But while the CPU is using DRAM to output an image, the CPU is doing its own work, handling all the game. In normal circumstances, the CPU finishes doing all of its work before the GPU is done with the frame. But the CPU, as a machine, can't just stop executing instructions. Instead, it runs into some code that just repeats itself over. It's called a spinning, since nothing is happening. Essentially, the CPU is just spinning in place, waiting for that interrupt to eventually break it out of its plate. If this is the case, there will never be an issue with it. Because while the CPU does get interrupted, it is interrupted alone. When bad things start to happen, the CPU is so busy on a single frame, it never makes it movement. This is essentially what causes lag. A standard part of any loop is to first detect if the CPU was sitting in a spinning loop. If it wasn't, then the VLink routine can just return immediately. Higher ends finish. However, NES Tetris does not perform this effect. For the most part, it's not very laggy at all, and the CPU is very good about finishing all of its work before the frame is done. This all changes when a player makes it to really high levels. This behemoth of a routine is responsible for adding points to the player's score every time a box completes. I'm not going to go as in-depth with this one as I did the other one, just the general idea. First, the game checks how many lines were completed as a result of this beat falling into place. It uses that as a small table. It holds how many points behind it. Then, it adds this number to the score. The score is held in separate bytes, binary coded decimal format. While this makes it much easier to convert tiles, makes it a chore to do arithmetic. First, the tens and ones digit of the line clear amount is added to the score. It checks if this caused an overflow in hundreds place, fixes it if so. Then it takes the thousands and hundreds digits of the line clear amount and adds it to the corresponding score. Then it checks if this caused an overflow into the thousands place and fixes it if so. Does the same thing for the 10,000, the 100,000. Then finally, it checks if this would cause an overflow in a million. If it would, then it just hard caps the score at 999,999. Decrements the counter, and then repeats this entire process over and over. Since the line clear amount is multiplied by what level you are, plus 1, means that for higher levels, this loop runs several hundred times. After all of that, the game won't update it on the screen and exits the routine. Turns out that doing all of this score calculation can take up the majority of the length of a frame level is high enough. In fact, at the highest levels, adding in the score for the over a frame, which will guarantee a lag frame every time. Now, if the CPU gets interrupted by the VLink while doing score calculation, nothing super terrible happens. That's because, while this routine does use some scratch RAM, adding counter, does override this memory, clobbering the variable. All it does in this case is mess up the score calculation, since the loop will not have a number of times. Sure, the amount of points will be Tetris at level 35 might be wrong, but you wouldn't notice it with the score capped down at its maximum, but the game won't crash. It's only going to crash if a critical scratch RAM variable is overwritten that has to deal with where the CPU program counter is. Which is why the game will crash if this dynamic jump routine. But this also explains why it doesn't get crashed. The timing window for where the CPU gets interrupted to get crashed is incredibly small. It has to be between this STA and the JM extra. Turns out to be only
Oh yeah, you know what would be a good idea? I should probably
6.76 microseconds. So depending
head
on
here and get some
exactly
mighty
how much
bananas.
CPU had on this will dictate whether or not it crashes. If there's not enough work to do, code runs too early in the interrupt will happen way after it gets executed. If there's too much work, interrupt will occur before this routine has a change of run. It has to be exactly just the right amount of work to fall within this time. Now, this routine actually runs many times throughout the course of a running test, since it is a general purpose every code. However, 8 of those times, this routine runs after the score calculation. looked at. So the chances of a crash occurring are effectively multiplied, thus interrupting any one of these crashes. For a sense of scale, here's the entirety of guns bearing a single frame and containing headgear level 29. Here's the part of the code allowing for calculation. And here is approximately how much interrupt does happen on level. All of this is the same beginning of the spot. With only 30 iterations of the scoring, interrupt happens well beyond any. Eventually, the calculation time for adding up points for a single while leveling up from level 154 to 155 takes just long enough for the interrupt to possibly hit the dynamic jumpers for the first time. This is maybe counterintuitively. A single takes the longest to integrate into the score, since it is the only score out of the 5 to have a non-zero tens place. After that, though, the requirements for getting a crash to occur become very complex. The game can only crash on the single line clear that levels you up to 105. It won't crash within level 100, because the score calculation doesn't take up enough time. It was only the additional work that went updating the level that allows it to crash on the first go through. However, on level 156, the game can crash on any single. On level 163 and onward, though, getting a single will always guarantee much work for you, and a crash will never happen. It takes up to level 165 for a continuous crash, as long as it's on the level up. Level 166 can crash on any Tetris. Level 167 can crash on any triple, and level 168 can crash on any double. Starting on level 177, there's just too much to calculate that any line clear will not result in a crash any longer. There are some weird gaps or situations where, even though there are enough calculations, it will just never happen, because it never exactly lines up perfectly. Interrupt will hit that sensitive level. Each of these situations don't all guarantee a crash either, just that possible. This is because there are some music, exact line clear count, Tetramino type, stack height that can cause subtle variations in exactly how much code is being executed on the frame. But then, after a long time, even letting a piece lock without clearing cause a crash. Score update still run while a line is it just effectively adds 0. Right? Even without all of the work of clearing out the line, just calculating the score for such a high level is enough. Perfect time. It can start happening on level 247, poses a threat all the way to level 250. If you do manage to clear level 255 while avoiding the threat, then the level will roll over back to 0, and it's just like you started the game over. The last thing to look at is the glitchy tiles that appear all over the screen, starting on level 160. This is just another case of the interrupt holding important the game, but instead of that dynamic, the routine responsible for preparing certain tiles to draw to the screen. The CPU may not be able to access video RAM while the GPU is generating video signal. It can prepare a buffer of sorts. Then, when VRAM, it can transfer everything from that buffer to VRAM right away, save time during short loop has access. Part of this processing has to do with preparing objects to draw to the screen. Most of the entire Tetris gameplay screen is made up of background. Background doesn't move, it's pretty much static most of the time. Moving sprites, however, are objects, and are treated differently to the background tiles. NES Tetris, the currently fallen Tetramino, and X-Stick are objects. Each of them are made up of 4 individual object tiles. Every frame, the game will look up which Tetris is displayed, and figure out how to arrange 4 tiles for each displayed pieces. Even though the 2 pieces look identical, they are handled. 7 different Tetramino icons in the next box are
Oh my god, not this puzzle.
sprites that also include all of the animation endings. sprites are defined in ROM as a set of objects.
Fuck this.
Next, line position, tile number, and attribute, horizontal. While each of the tetragenas takes up 4 tiles, since each is part of a broader group of parent sprites, the number of tiles is strictly defined. Sprites can be any number, and the list of tiles is then incarnated with a single byte of text at that. Sprite definitions are found in ROM, and then there is also a table of pointers that point to locations of these sprites. Starting on level 160, the code responsible for drawing the tetragrammaton next piece box may get interrupted by Beagle. Here's what that means. There is this memory location that holds the ID of the sprite to display in the next piece box. The code reads that ID and turns it into an index to read a pointer. 16-bit pointer corresponding to the proper tetrabino is copied to a couple of scratch memory. All of this code copies each of the 4 bytes of the object tile data into the object buffer. X and Y positions are offset properly so they appear where they're supposed to relative to the entire screen, but the other 2 bytes go directly to the buffer as it.
This tower was one of the towers you were able to explore during the demo
This is what triggers
of this game before it got launched properly.
Now, this pointer gets overwritten by the v-blank routine if an interrupt were to happen during this operation. And unlike the dynamic jump code, this window is wide open, so it is very likely, if not almost guaranteed, to happen once you hit level 1. Since the pointer gets corrupted,
I saw Zelda just now.
being copied to this object buffer is corrupted as well. This is why a bunch of glitchy tiles end up all over. And remember, since this loop isn't strictly defined,
Where I did.
it will keep looping forever and ever until it hits that magic XFF byte. If there happens to be no F byte in the area around where the corrected pointer points, then this loop will just never break, endlessly dump garbage. Now, it's pretty interesting what this pointer ends up being corrupted by. The link routine happens to use both addresses hex A8 and hex A9 separately. Location the lower button of this pointer is used when the game is updating the tiles that display the player's score to the screen. When it's finished, this scratch
My strategy?
the highest 2-digit score, which will always be 99. So the lower half of the button holds hex 9.
Banzai.
Location XA9 normally holds the upper byte of it. Is used to temporarily hold the state of the buttons. Different depending on what buttons are pressed and what time the floor is counted. Some of the button combinations will create a pointer that points to an area that has turned into byte, and some of them won't. For example, if you are holding the A button, this creates the pointer hex 809. This area of ROM does have a hex at that point, so at some point it'll be filled. Exit out.
Just like in the promotional material.
This creates the pointer X04. This actually points to RAM, and is the area in memory for the state of the entire board. The only ever grouped bytes hex 7B, 7C, 7E, the 3 tile variants, as well as hex EF. Since there will never be any hex FF bytes here, this will loop infinite, as long as you're holding the down button. Select button is fun because this creates the pointer X209. This area of memory is where the hardware registers are, so it's possible to really crash it. Despite all this, you just don't hold any buttons down. It makes the pointer X0099.
The hell was that for?
Frequently used variables are known. Earliest memory location just happens to be a sort of frame count that gets incremented once per frame by the beat. Which means that most of the time, there are no hex FF terminated bytes. However, every 256 frames, that code does hit hex FF, and only on that frame does it break down and do this, you can set it to the Y position
Woo!
tile based on the value of that counter. So it will glide across the screen. The moment it finds its way back to the side of X value, it will turn on. Now that was just the next key graphic puzzle. If you press select beforehand, disable Game's garbage will never be because the policy doesn't end up running in the first place. However, starting at level 167, that draws the falling tension will have the opportunity to cause some glitches, and there's no way to disable it. Here is the code that prepares the object tiles for falling by writing them to the object. Unlike the last code, this code does define them for a specific number. 4, 1, 3, 4 tiles. It also uses a different format, object. There are 7 different Tetrapinos, but this table also takes care of the orientation. There are actually 19. Tetrapino is made up of 4 tiles, and each tile has 3 bytes of data associated with it. X offset, Y offset, what type of tile it is. This code takes the Y offset data, converts it from tile coordinates to pixel coordinates 5, 1, 5, 8, adds the Y position on the screen, and puts it in the buffer. It takes the tile number and puts that straight into the buffer. Then it puts the tile attributes, which hardcoded 2, puts that in the buffer. That's why each tile only takes up instead of 4 in the buffer. Next thing it does is double check the object's Y position. If it's above the top of the board, by setting its tile number to hexFF, a blank tile, and its X position to 0, so that it doesn't appear on top of the background. Otherwise, it takes the X offset from the object, again, converts it from tile coordinates to coordinates, adds the X position on the screen, and puts it in the buffer. Then the loop counter jumps back up to the top until it does all 4. Say, where is that tile counter variable stored in memory? Oh, at address hex A9. That's the same scratch RAM address that got corrupted by the controller buttons in the last code block. If this routine gets interrupted at all, the loop counter gets corrupted, and causes it to iterate many more times than it intended. Because of the way the counter is iterated, it is decremented once before it is checked again to break out. It means if you are pressing no buttons on the controller, the counter will be corrupted to 0. And on the first iteration back from being corrupted, the counter rolls around back to 205. We'll attempt to copy over 256 objects to the buffer on this one. This, of course, takes so long that the loop will be interrupted again, where the counter gets re-corrupted back to 0, and the same thing happens again, after frame. However, if you press any button on the counter becomes something other than 0. The loop manages to finish in time without being interrupted. It turns out that the loop gets interrupted again on its 153rd iteration. So pretty much any button combination, other than pressing every single button once, will lower the counter just enough that it will be able to finish. When the loop counter gets corrupted, it attempts to draw all 19 oriented once. Not only that, but since there are only 240 bytes in this table, 19 plus 1 extra that shows up blank, times 4 tiles times 3 bytes. When the X index register goes out of bounds all the way to 255, some glitch tiles end up being 1, 2. Since 256 is not divisible by 3, number of bytes assigned to each tile, every time X overflows, the parity switches and the bytes are used for incorrect purpose, causing even more glitching. Now, the NES can only display 64 objects at once, and only 8 of them can be visible on a scan line at a time. So that's why when the game is frozen like this, the graphics start to turn low. It's only able to display a subset of the total glitched objects at once, and each frame chooses a different subset. I'd like to take a moment to make a huge shout out to Hydrant Dude for figuring out a lot of the on how NES Tetris works, and what exactly causes the crashes to happen, as well as helping fact check this video. you're interested about what exact combinations of levels and line clears will result in crashes and their exact probabilities, check out this spreadsheet that is linked in the description. This is an incredibly information-rich document, and it includes a few wonderful
Aren't you a sight for Sora's
This document
old
acted as
friend?
my sanity check for my own research, so I appreciate that time. He's also made a few videos of his own about how things affect this, so check them out. Type it too. And also, thank you for watching this video. Retro Game Mechanics Explained is kept afloat thanks to everyone who watches, and especially those who pledge extra at YouTube and Patreon. While YouTube ad revenue can be a roller coaster ride, monthly support is more predictable and reliable, and allows the channel to exist without the non-client sponsorship. If you'd like to support the channel, consider becoming a member. Even the smallest bit helps out. Yeah.
This stone talus is still here, but this time it's a battle talus. I don't feel like fighting them. Or maybe I do. Should be a shrine at Hopper Pond. Close to it. I still don't have the shrine radar. That's fine. Although I've technically only played the game once, I already have a very good idea of where all the shrines are, at least. I mean, it certainly helps that this is still the same map I knew 7 or so years ago. Should be over there. I have fond memories of this place. Thanks to these guys. This is the first ever Phantom Ganon I encountered. Bruh, what the
Hello?
heck? That's a thing now?
You get surprised? Are you playing Zelda on Yuzu?
Yeah, actually.
So I thought you didn't know anything about Yuzu. What happened?
What do you mean I'm using it to emulate? What do you mean? I just said I knew.
I know.
And I'm...
By the way,
Hmm?
have you seen the new character,
What new character?
Chiori?
What
The
about her?
trailer?
Yeah, obviously, I know her.
I know. She looks great.
Oh!
And I'd like to pull her soon. Like right. By soon I mean like now. Also, look at this. Damn. You see that shit?
Mm-hmm. More Nikkei.
Mm-hmm. Nikkei is really really good at their character design, you know. They have been cooking good quality badoing gadoings, you know.
I wonder how Dazzle Fruits will work against them. I've never tried that.
So what's up? Why you selling?
Well, guess it's the weekend.
I know, but anything else? Any new info on other game like
Alright, it works.
Tekken?
Wow, that was real shit of me.
Has your patent nowhere stuff been taken care of?
I don't know, I might do more of it later. Fucking don't climb! Holy shit, they're so fast!
What's so fast? Are
There,
you winning?
I have a plan. If it works, then yes, I am indeed winning.
So it won't work, and then you're gonna lose. Got you. So you are sure that you're gonna pull for Chiori, right?
No.
Oh, but
Chiori's kinda like what Navia was to you a little while ago when she came out.
what do you mean?
Don't wanna pull.
Huh? It's not that I didn't want to pull Navia. I just wanted a reason to pull for her, and you gave me enough of a reason, and I decided to go. I mean, she's gonna be easy to build, and we already have her best in slot sword, which is, Dragon Spine Sword. That's for Albedo, right?
I guess. I swear I got this.
You swear you don't got this? Got you.
Yeah, sure. Let's pull out the big guns.
Oh, Resty's pulling out big guns, huh? What a fucking loser.
Alright, I don't have enough time.
You don't have enough time. Why is that? No, you always don't have enough time, Rusty.
Yee!
Yeah, middle.
Fuck.
Why? Why you fucking?
I'm the one getting fucked.
Because sex. You like to do sex, right? That's why you want, and you say fuck.
Yes. Whew. Yeah. Yeah. His attacks are so hard to read for some reason. Nope, I'm not at full hearth. Alright, he's dead. Boom. It was that easy.
Huh.
Now I've got 2 gloom swords. Very
You got to
lovely.
what more?
You know what? I'll make this one a mace.
That's
It'll be...
amazing.
I was gonna make that joke, gosh darn it, I swear I was gonna do it first. Wow, that looks terrible. I thought it would look better looking than that. And here's our shrine. So I guess that's a
What
Discord feature now, or has that always been a thing?
do you mean calling you? It's always been a thing. What the fuck are you on about?
Well, this is the first time I've seen it happen.
What the fuck are you on about? You fucking stupid.
Yes.
I mean, I knew you were. But bro, what are you on about? Like fucking calling someone on Discord was the whole point of it, no? Like you can call someone in your chat, like chat to them. Why would you think that's not a part of Discord? It's basically a part of every fucking messaging app, Rusty. No? What
That it
fucking drugs
is.
are you? Why did you not think that?
Come back, Shane! My name's not Shane, kid. Dun, 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 dun. I don't know why I don't know why I felt like referencing the town with no name. I'm so sorry.
Wait the fuck.
Ah, here it is.
Hmm.
Alright, it's probably easier to attach it to the platform instead.
Attached to what platform? You finished the exploration. You did more story quests, right?
Yeah, I'm still in the middle of doing things. It's a,
Oh,
it's a process.
I'm talking about Genshin, by the way.
I know.
You have?
Yeah, I still do them.
Damn. So, what are your thoughts? You know what's fucking annoying? Fucking Genshin, the Hilichurl event ended, and there's no fucking new stuff in Genshin. And then fucking Star Rail event ended, and there's new fucking events immediately. What the fuck?
I mean, I don't mind, honestly. That was one of the first few things I said I thought was a good thing
No, but the thing about
about
the fucking
Genshin.
The Star Rail one is just the fucking Libin event. You just
Uh-huh.
bring stuff to one place.
Yeah, that
That's
was
the
pretty
event
chill.
in that's the event in Star Rail right now. After one of the fighting events. The fighting events gave you a bunch of trial characters. So there was no like hard thingy that you needed to do. Because you could just use the trial one. So
Hmm.
like there's so many Stellar Jades. Like my Star Rail has fucking gotten past Jade Stellar Jades compared to my Primos. And I haven't been spending my Primos.
Nice.
What the fuck, man? Don't have the wire. Fuck, man. Kuru kuru in. Kuru kuru in. Kuru kuru.
I still want those bananas. Let's just build a plane.
Damn, he wants those bananas.
I'm going bananas for them bananas.
Rusty likes them bananas. What the fuck, bro? You like them bananas a lot, Rusty?
I like them big and thick.
Hey, yo. Sus. Why are you sus, Rusty?
I just love being sus. It's a hobby.
What would you do if you saw a cat just lying down on the floor in your room?
Nothing.
And then,
Oh, in my room.
you touched it and it still doesn't move. What the fuck do you do?
Uh, I throw it away
But how would you throw it away?
with a 10-foot pole, cause that's gonna be that thing's definitely disgusting.
Oh, I
It's
didn't know that.
bound to be disgusting.
Disgusting.
Exactly.
Ah, shit. What the fuck? How the fuck do I win this?
Yeah, there's a
What
royal
the?
claymore here. I can take.
What does that mean?
Oh, but I don't have any room for it, and I really don't want to get off the plane. Oh well. In loving memory of one of fiction's worst kings, and even worse father.
What you say? What the fuck? What's happening?
I'm playing Zelda, that's what's happening.
No, I'm doing Nikkei Reski and the boss is killing my characters and I don't know what I'm doing.
Nice.
I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah, this must be my greatest plane yet. It's super straight. Straighter than me.
What? Hey, yo. What the fuck did you just say, Rexy?
And we're off. Yeah, so I'm not going through the bridge because there's a fucking dragon there.
What the fuck? Is everyone just dead? What the hell happened?
I poisoned the water supply. Now everybody dead. Uh, it's just a smooth sailing from here. Just gotta make myself a car. Do you like my car?
What did you say? My cur?
Yes,
What the fuck does that mean?
it's a Japanese way of saying car.
No,
Probably a JoJo reference.
that's literally just wrong.
Exactly. Oh! choo choo. Works better if your enemies are wet. Hey look, pirates.
Hmm.
Yo, I hear you guys like manslaughter. Lucky for you, I'm in the mood for some slaughtering. Let's go slaughter these bitches.
Huh.
I have friends this time.
I do not believe that.
You all will perish with the power of friendship on my side.
You know that we both know that we don't have friends. What the fuck are you talking about? Yo, bitch ass don't have friends, Rusty. What the hell are you on?
I don't need friends.
Yes, you do.
But when I do have friends, I am invincible. Bang.
No, you're not. You're not in a, 90s anime. The power of friendship does not work like that. You don't have plot armor. Link does have plot armor, right?
Not when I'm the one controlling.
Yeah, but he still, comes back to life after you lose, right?
I suppose.
So it is a
Ooh.
scam. No battery life. Fucking hell. Okay, that didn't fucking work at all. This is some bullshit, man. What the hell?
Man, I have so many assignments.
I know.
I don't want to do any of them.
I know.
Why are the dogs barking?
Because they're dogs.
Who let the dogs out?
You should just, say, what the dog doing?
True.
Because, it is, what is the dog doing indeed, right?
True.
Why the dog doing? They always ask what the dog doing, but they
And
never ask how the dog is doing. Right, Rusty? What the dog doing? How the dog doing? Right?
indeed, the real question.
Ukulele mystery. Is this the real life? Or is this just resting? Stuck in a landslide. No escape from bestiality.
That sounds
That
wrong.
sounds that sounds bad to say. Do not say bestiality. Sounds
Ever
like
again. That word is banned.
something someone said bestiality but failed at saying it.
Indeed.
No escape from resty. Ow.
Vroom vroom. Duel 1979 vroom vroom. Oh hey, a blue Lionel.
I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die. Fuck. I'm dead.
Oh yeah, time for slaughter.
Oh yeah, time for slaughter. Slaughter than the Guten Morgen. Right, Resty?
Yes, whatever that means. Dun, 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 dun,
You don't
dun.
know what Guten Tag means?
I'm afraid not.
Do you not know what Guten means at all?
No,
It seems that it is a skill issue. You have skill issue.
I sure do. Woo!
Why are you
You're gonna
turning
have to
into
try better than that.
Why are you Crash Bandicooting? Like, whoa!
But that wasn't a whoa for me getting hit, it was a whoa for being such a badass.
You're no badass. You're just stupid. You are the Mr. Stupido, Resty. Am I right? Or am I right?
You are dead. Woo!
You are dead. That's what he said.
I am just the best.
Stop motherfucking lying. You're not the best. You will never be the best. Yeah, Resty. You should play Plants vs Zombies 2.
I've played it before.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is play it and then finish it like 100%.
No, that sounds like
Why not?
hell. That's a gacha game, isn't it?
It's not. Well, you could download the not gacha version of it. The people that made it better. You know,
Yes,
if you know, you know
I see.
the better version. You know, you know, like the Plants vs Zombies one that they made super hard, like the Chinese version.
What?
Do you not know about that?
No, that's
They
whack.
made a super hard. They made a super hard version of the original Plants vs Zombies,
That's whack.
and it's fucking legit, Rest.
Go make a light dragon hammer. Why not?
It's so fucking legit, Resty. I wish you could play it. I want to see you play it. Like you know how in the original Plants vs Zombies, right? Like, oh, one insta kill can kill the football zombie, right?
Uh huh.
Yeah, in the Chinese like super difficult version, you need two instant kills to kill it. The chomper also can't kill it in one chomp.
Nice. Alright, so Lionel shields. It's not a bad idea to pin a weapon.
God fucking damn, she's so hot.
Okay, simp.
I'm talking about, D.
I could guess.
Obviously. You can. It do be like that, rest. It
Doobie.
just is. Doobie doobie doo. Doobie doobie doo. Doobie 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 resty.
Indeed.
Uh, hang on. Um,
What's up? You know, I'm literally not using this. I may as well just turn it into a real weapon. You're not a real weapon!
I don't remember what the fuck it's called. The Plants vs Zombies modded, but you know the fucking screen door zombie, the zombie that holds a fucking door in front of it,
Yeah, that one's pretty wacky.
and in the hard modded version, the screen door zombies can also have bucket heads.
Why?
You know the fucking newspaper zombie?
Yeah, they get real mad.
Yeah, imagine them being mad, but they move like 3 times faster than normal.
Whack.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I want you to play the hard version of Plants vs Zombies, Resty. Like the very hard version.
Sure, I mean, Plants vs. Zombies was never a hard game. Ow! What the
I know, yeah.
fuck? So, playing a hard version of it would be cool. Especially since after playing Path to Nowhere, I'm pretty much a pro at tower defense games now.
I'd say Passing Over is still a lot easier than the hard version of it, Resty.
Bruh.
I would say Passing Over is easier, yes. I feel like you will lose your mind trying to finish it.
Sounds like a fun time.
I know. Sounds like a very fun time, right? Yeah, you should definitely download it now, Resty. Find it now. And start it right now. Resty. It's not that, Plants vs. Zombies isn't that big, right? Storage wise and RAM wise to play, right?
I am still playing Zelda.
I know, but download it. It's basically like Plants vs Zombies Kaizo mod, Resty.
Yeah, I think I've heard of it, but I don't really know it. So it would still be pretty much a blind playthrough and everything.
Yes, I will watch you with great interest. I want to see you fail a lot. I want to see you lose your mind and you go like, "What the fuck? How we're supposed to beat this?" Go like that. I
What is
want to
this
see it.
bullflaggery?
What is this Ganondorf shit? What is Ganondorf, Resty?
Ganondorf Dragmire is the king of the Gerudo. The Gerudo are a race of desert-dwelling thieves,
But
consisting
why
only
are
of
they?
female. However, every 100 years, a male among them is born, and it is their
No, but
destiny
Resty,
to... Hmm?
why is Ganondorf? Why are the Gerudo like desert dwelling thieves? Like, why thieves specifically?
Ask Nintendo.
Like, why do they need to resort to thievery, Rusty?
Because stealing is so fun. Murders, okay, as long as you are having fun. Also,
So
I'm 13.
how did they get children again?
Hmm? They have sex with other people, with other species instead.
How does that work? Our Gerudos are basically still humans, right?
Yeah, I guess. And also, yeah, I don't know. They bang a fucking Zora and then a fish person, and then instead of a half Gerudo, half fish person, it's a pure breed Gerudo that comes out. Explain that,
That's cool.
atheists.
I mean, you know how us humans, right? You know how our anatomy works, Rusty?
Hmm. No.
So you know how, let's say, girl fucks dog, and dog, you know,
They can't make babies.
yes. How does that work for the Gerudo Eans?
Yeah, interspecies sex just works in fiction, in fantasy. You
Does it
know,
really though?
a human and an elf, they bang, and then you get a half elf.
But do they really though?
Truly.
I mean, it's understandable if the fucking people, the fucking people are closely, like, they aren't that many differences. But the thing that you said, as example, fish people with regular 2 feet people, right?
Indeed.
That shouldn't work like that, right?
I agree.
Can we just get like lore as to and how fucking people work in Zelda? How
I
how
remember
populate?
not how this is supposed to be done. Never mind, I did it.
Can you remind me again, Rusty? What the fuck are Korok?
Koroks, they are spirits of the forest, playful and mischievous. They are invisible and not interactable by anyone other than those with pure hearts, which are, I guess, apparently typically classified as children.
So do they reproduce or what? Why are there so many of them?
That's a good question.
How they make baby?
Well, they're
Oh,
spirits.
here's another thing I still don't understand. So you said that Gerudians lived in the desert, right? What's stopping them from moving to not desert place?
Well, they've lived there for a long time and they've gotten used to the way things are over there. They specialize in living there now. I guess, apparently. They like it there. Although
Or
right
they
now
just
it's infested with zombies over there. What fun.
But like, why do they want to live there? Like, don't they want to prosper in better land where they can actually plant crops and have
Uh,
and not need to resort to stealing?
well, they don't really steal anymore. They were really only that like that because Ganondorf was taking the reins. After their Gerudo
So
realized that Ganondorf is a little cuckoo brain. Ow!
You're telling me the Gerudos wanted to resurrect Ganondorf, and now they don't want Ganondorf anymore.
Well, the Gerudo, not all of the Gerudo like Ganondorf. And there's really only two Gerudo, and that's his freaking two mums. That fostered Ganondorf's evil personality, apparently.
So you're telling me they're doing like a Cinderella story where evil stepmom made made Ganondorf evil too? Like why?
I guess.
And why is Ganondorf immortal? Why does he just keep reincarnating over and over again?
Hmm.
I feel like
Because
I feel like
because
they
Satan himself was very butthurt.
Rusty, I feel like they just did that as a story thing so that they can keep releasing Zelda games.
Yep, pretty much. That is undisputable as a fact.
I feel like they're starting to just okay. I feel like they're starting to become like, Pokemon, Rusty. Zelda.
Hmm.
Like they release games but they're not really changing and a lot of stuff to it.
Story wise, yeah, that agreeable, but gameplay wise and literally everything else, no. And Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom is the farthest to a traditional Zelda that's ever been released in quite a while.
Uh, I understand what the gameplay, yeah, it's good. But the fucking story, can they just, make something else aside from Ganon? Are there no other villains?
There are, but they're equally, if not sometimes even more boring.
Yeah, like, why can they not make an actual villain that's not Ganon that's interesting?
And when there is a new villain, it sometimes eventually it just gets replaced with Ganondorf. Eventually, like there's this villain,
Okay.
but then near the end of the game, it's revealed, haha, it was Ganon all along. It's Ganon that's the boss now.
No, can they stop doing that? Another thing, Rusty. Can they add Morshu back into the game?
They do technically
He's
own the rights
so.
to that character.
I know they should add Morshu again because he's dope.
Agreeable. Lamp oil, rope, bombs. You want it? It's
It's
yours,
you.
my friend. As long as you have enough rupees. What the fuck?
Like what?
30 rupees for 5, and then if I buy 5, okay, never mind, I just suck at math.
I mean, don't you just suck at math all the time?
I sure do.
But yeah, can they make an actual story that doesn't involve Ganon and never involves Ganon, Rusty? Do you think that's possible?
Actually, out of all of the Zelda games, spin-offs excluded, Ganon is actually only the main villain in 50% of the titles. Unlike Bowser, who is in, I don't know, 90% of the mainline games.
But didn't you say that they fucking just keep adding Ganon as a final boss instead of the
Yeah,
actual
so
boss?
25%, in the 50% is purely Ganon, and then the other remaining 50% of that 50% is surprise plot twist Ganon at the end.
5% Ganon.
Oh, and the other 50% that isn't Ganon is technically still just Ganon but reskinned. They're equally as boring. Like
Don't you feel
Ganondorf
don't you
but train. Or
like Rest
Ganondorf but gay looking.
like Resty, don't you feel like Zelda can do better than that?
I agree. It's a fantasy. It's a fantasy world thing. They definitely good stories within that world building and lore is definitely supposed to be a thing.
Mhm.
But Nintendo just got a Nintendo, you know?
You know, Nintendo just got a cash grab now. I feel like Nintendo is falling into the same shit as Disney, you know?
They basically are at this point, you know?
And that's why the fucking Pokemon games that they're releasing are kind of garbage, and people just like
That's
Power World better.
not Nintendo's fault. Nintendo just publishes those. They don't have any control over those. That's Game Freak's fault.
Yeah, true. Game Freak is the issue. But I mean, Nintendo is also an issue in terms of fucking, you know, fucking stopping everyone from doing shit like, you know, the emulator thingy.
True, they are a bit too overprotective on their
Yeah,
brand.
just like Disney.
True.
Too overprotective that it actually just hurts them more than it does good for them. Like, remember the fucking like tournaments for like, you know, it's not unofficial tournaments, not like, you know, thingy by Nintendo, and then they're like the fucking issue with the, remember the fucking copyright bitches? Like, Nintendo just copyrighted a bunch of fucking videos.
They used to do that, yes.
Don't they still do that? I don't know.
They
I'm pretty,
they they've been a bit more lenient with the
I'm pretty sure.
videos as of
I'm pretty
late.
sure if the Resty, I'm pretty sure if the YouTubers didn't like, you know, fucking raise their voices against Nintendo, they would have kept doing it.
Probably.
Where is my fucking foot?
Frickin' a fighting game tournament with one of their games was going to be presented once for charity and stuff, but Nintendo's like, no, we don't
No,
do that here. They
no
were
charity
literally
here.
willing to paint themselves as a villain just to protect their IP.
They
Thankfully,
should. They
Nintendo was
should.
forced to concede and allow, to their dismay, other people to see video games be played for
You're
charity.
you're Resty. They should. They should add a Nintendo villain in Zelda. That would make for a much more interesting evil bad guy than Ganondorf. You know,
True.
add Nintendo into the game. Add Game Freak into the game.
So,
You
durians
know.
are fucking extinct in this game now, but the bananas should still all be here.
Yeah. Why? What about it? Bananas shall exist forever because bananas are bananas have human DNA.
I am seeing zero bananas. I'm getting zero bitches. Also, is
But what
that a
about
fucking dragon? Thing
the
over.
durians? Are you eating of them?
Yeah, durians just straight up don't exist anymore. I mean, I can probably guess why, but it's still very sad.
Nice, nice, Caesar-chan.
I like the durians.
That's what he said.
Hmm. I miss durians. Been a while since I last had them. I love their smell.
So you're telling me
I love their taste even more. Hmm?
you've had durians, but you never ate fucking pizza.
Uh, there a problem with that?
Yes, your entire being is a problem. Your entire
Understandable.
is a problem. How can you not have had the most basic shit that every human being is able to fucking, you know, experience? What's wrong with you?
I am just so magical.
By the way, Resty, it's March 7th. You know what that means?
Huh. It was the day a girl was found in the iceberg.
Yes. I
And then
still
it
haven't.
turned out she was the master of all four elements who ran away from her responsibility.
And now she trailblazes the galaxy with a fucking raccoon.
Yeah, we're
The raccoon.
referencing two completely different IPs. How far can we
I,
go? Ah, and also don't forget she has blue skin.
what do you mean?
And you can't. Who doesn't know about everyone's favorite James Cameron's Avatar? You
By
know?
the way, I have a question, Rusty. Are you gonna watch the Avatar one, the new one?
What?
Fucking hell!
Are you
Why?
talking about the live action adaptation from
Yes.
Netflix?
Fuck.
I
Fucking.
unfortunately was
Fuck.
forced to watch it with mom.
Fucking hate.
I
Fuck.
didn't like it. Mom liked it a lot though. I hate that
Why?
she did.
What did you see? Like, what did you fucking see that you did not like at all?
It was live action instead of animated. I'm pretty sure that's the only reason.
Yeah, but like, what's the differences to the like actual, you know?
Uh, there's a lot of exposition, and everyone is
Ah,
so fucking bland.
damn, that sucks.
They
Why did
got
they make
turned.
everything?
The characters got turned into cookie cutter versions of what they were in the original.
You
Instead
know,
of,
I still don't understand.
hmm,
You know Toph, right?
they sure do.
You know Toph, right?
Ah, tough. Yeah.
Yes.
If they do adapt book to live action, they better not fuck up Toph at least.
You know the fucking what you call it? The fucking animated, like the other one, the the fucking sequel to Avatar.
Mm-hmm.
You know what's stupid with that? You're telling me Toph became a fucking police like personnel?
Ah, yeah, and the sequel with Korra, she was the one who
Ah,
invented the police. She
I
didn't just become a police; she invented the system in universe.
I honestly don't believe that happened, Resty. She would never fucking invent the police. She would never become a fucking law enforcement, you know?
I mean, she did eventually stop bothering.
I know, but still, why would she be the one that Invents it.
I
She
guess,
would
yeah, it
never.
is a little crazy considering what we knew of Toph.
Yeah. How the just no. It don't make sense.
Where time can do a lot to people.
No, just no. Don't give me that excuse, Resty.
Ah,
Do not use that as an excuse, please.
oh,
Understandable.
ooh,
Time can change a lot of people. What about you? You
oh.
still haven't changed one bit, Resty.
I've
You've
changed a
been living.
lot.
You've been living it.
I used to be very cringe. Now I'm just cringe.
Still cringe though.
But at least it's less.
What the hell is this?
Where are my bananas?
Look down in your pants.
This, this can't be happening.
Where are my bananas? Look down in your pants, Resty. The bananas are there. Oh wait, I forgot. You don't have a banana because it's so small you can't see it.
I don't
Is
have
that true?
bananas because I'm a real woman.
No, you're not. Anyways, um, Hmm. What did you do on Genshin so far?
I just opened some chests and then I dug a guy out of a hole.
You took what? Huh?
There was a
Nani?
guy. He was in a hole.
Ah, in Fontaine, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I know that guy.
Oh no!
By the way, when are you gonna open it, Genshin? Because I'm gonna show you a chest that you can only get in co-op.
Sure. I guess I can go log into Genshin again.
Like right now? Okay.
Hold on. Some hands want to rape me again.
Nani?
I need to show them who's the alpha.
Nani the fuck? Show them who's the alpha. What the fuck is wrong with you, Rusty?
Now, this is a battlefield. Everything on fire in a forest. Wait, shit, this is terrible. Oh, of course you're a spear guy again. How about give me a club instead for once?
Why do you want a club?
Well, because claymores are the best weapon type.
But clubs are different from claymores, though.
Well, as far as Zelda's concerned, they're the same shit. What are you doing? Oh my
I
god.
mean, it's also the same shit for Genshin is concerned, you know.
Yep, debate club is a thing. Whoosh! I got you, bitch!
But still, when I hear club, Rusty, you know what I think?
What?
A one-handed mace. That's what I think when I hear club.
I see.
Not a two-handed
When I
fucking
think
claymore.
when I think club, personally, I see caveman stick.
Just a fucking cartoonishly big caveman stick.
Yeah, yeah, the one with the rounded tip and everything.
Like exactly like the fucking meat stick. You know that?
Yes, whatever that is. Yes, I guess probably. Ooh,
You know the big ham leg that you always see in cartoons with the fucking bone as the handle for the ham.
yeah, those are called drumsticks.
No, those are not drumsticks. Those are ham legs.
Nice.
Because they are not drumsticks. They are not chicken drumsticks. Why are they called drumsticks again?
I know. It's confusing to me too.
Why are they drumsticks?
What if I attach a shard of light to the gloom spear? I
You
lose
get a
health,
short.
but I heal the health as well. It's genius. So
What's the point?
that means it's a net negative. I invented Furina's gameplay style in Tears of the Kingdom, baby.
Except worse.
Except worse. Alright, that's enough Zelda-ing for now, I suppose.
Zelda Inc. Zelda Incorporated.
Why can't the recording